On a random afternoon, you're walking to your car after work. It's been a long day, and there, right next to your front tire, is a USB drive and it has a label. It says confidential and it is a handwritten tag. Your hand is already reaching for it. Your brain is already racing. You're wondering who left this here. What is on it? And should you take it? That split second decision, that is what we are talking about today. Because the distance between curiosity and catastrophe is around 3 to 5 seconds. Let's talk about it on today's episode. I am Rushen and you're listening to the Tech Files. If you have seen Mr. Robot, you know this scene. Elliot's sister Darlene assists him with breaching the FBI. At this point, the FBI is investigating F Society and Elliot needs to know what they know. So what do? She programs malicious USB drives on Elliot's command, disguises herself as a casual pedestrian, and walks right into the FBI parking lot. She drops these infected USB drives near cop cars. And then she waits until someone picks it up and plug it into a computer so Elliot can break into the FBI's system. Now, this is fiction, but the attack, it is completely real. Security researchers at the University of Illinois actually tested this. They dropped 297 USB drives around the campus. Different locations, different labels on these drives. Some marked as confidential, some marked as vacation photos, and the result was predictable. 45% were picked up and plugged in. Nearly half. And here's the kicker. It took less than 6 hours for the first drive to be connected to a computer. In the real world, this exact technique compromised a major energy company in 2019. Hackers scattered infected USB drives in the parking lot, each one loaded with malware. One curious employee picked one up and connected the drive to a computer. Just one click on a malicious link and suddenly the attackers had a foothold in a critical infrastructure network. But here's the question nobody asks. Why does this work so well? And why, despite countless warnings, does it keep happening? It is not stupidity. It is not carelessness. It is something far more fundamental. It is how we are wired. We have an almond-shaped cluster of neurons deep in our brain called amygdala. Simply put, it is your threat detector and it acts as your alarm system. It is fast. We are talking about reaction time under milliseconds. So when you see a USB stick labeled confidential, your amygdala does not pause. It does not deliberate. It sees 3 things instantly. First thing is information you should not have access to. Second thing is a mystery demanding to be solved. Third thing it says is a gap screaming to be filled. And here's where it gets interesting. You know that feeling, that itch to know? That is not a bug in your system. Actually, it is a feature. Curiosity kept the humankind alive for thousands of years. The one who wandered, they found food, they found shelter, and they survived. But hackers have reverse engineered this survival instinct. They exploit what psychologists call the information gap theory. We experience actual discomfort when there is a gap between what we know and what we want to know. Our brains are literally wired to close that gap immediately. Hackers do not stop at curiosity. They add urgency to the mix. Visual prompts such as your account will be locked in 24 hours, limited time offer, immediate action required are strong phrases they use to enforce urgency. Now, you have got a chemical cocktail with a mix of hormones, cortisol from the stress, dopamine from the anticipated reward of solving the mystery, your rational brain, your prefrontal cortex that says, wait, let me think about this, it is drowned out suddenly. At this point, you are not thinking, you are reacting, and that is exactly what the hacker wants. Keep in mind not to fight it. Instead, add a speed bump. I call it the 3-second pause. Simply ask yourself 3 questions, and that is it. Question number 1. Ask yourself if you were expecting this. That email from your bank, did you just try to log in, or that USB drive in the parking lot? Were you waiting for someone to drop classified information in a public space? If the answer is no, then that is your first red flag. Question number 2. Ask yourself, is this creating unnecessary urgency? Reflect on phrases like act now, immediate action required, your account will be suspended. See, real emergencies don't usually come through randomly. Urgency is a weapon. Recognize it. Question number 3. Ask yourself, what is the worst that happens if you verify first? Say you found a USB drive. What if you don't plug it in? What if you turn it into security instead? You know that urgent email from IT? What if you call IT directly using a number you look up yourself? The worst case scenario of pausing is you delay gratification by a few minutes. The worst case scenario of not pausing is you could be patient zero in a breach. Here is a real example. You get an email. It says your package could not be delivered. Click here to reschedule. Now, if you are expecting a package, you should click, right? The answer is no. Instead, you take a 3-second pause and ask these 3 questions. Question number 1. Were you expecting this email specifically? Or are you simply just expecting a package? Question number 2. Is click immediately or lose your package is an artificial urgency? Question number 3. What if I go directly to the shipping company's website instead? Remember, 3 seconds, 3 questions, and suddenly you have shifted from reactive to active. You are back in control. Look, you are going to encounter these attacks. We all do. Phishing emails, suspicious links, mysterious USB drives, they are not going away. If anything, they are getting more sophisticated. But here's what I want you to remember. Your curiosity is not the enemy. It is actually one of your best traits. The ability to ask, what if? And then to explore, to learn. That is what makes us human. The trick is adding one more layer of questions to that list. The next time you see something that makes you want to click, to open, to plug in, pause for a moment. Just 3 seconds, 3 questions. Because the best security system in the world is not a firewall or antivirus software. It is you, paying attention, asking questions, taking a moment before actioning anything. Pause beats panic every single time. So keep that in mind. Let's keep this conversation going. Join the community, links are in the description, and if you have questions or stories of your own, visit rushandvic.com to submit them. Thanks for listening. I'll catch you in the next one.